It's Shaily, right?
Shaily.
Shaily.
Shaily,
Okay.
like Miley, like Smiley. And I put it in my name down here too, so you can.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Welcome. Good morning, everybody, to another virtual 1 million cups Bentonville. We appreciate you for joining us this morning. Whether you're dropping the kids off for school, no, you're not because it's spring break. Lucky you. You probably slept in. Or you're brushing your teeth, getting ready for work, ready to log on to Zoom. We appreciate you for tuning in to this morning's session. My name is Caleb. I'm the director of marketing and events for Startup Junkie in Fayetteville, but I'm a proud 1 Million Cups organizer. And for those of you who are maybe watching and not familiar with 1 Million Cups, let me give you the spiel. 1 Million Cups was created on the notion that entrepreneurs discover solutions and engage with their communities over 1 million cups of coffee. The Kauffman Foundation developed 1 Million Cups in 2012 as a free program designed to educate, engage, and inspire entrepreneurs across the country. And through the power of volunteers, 1 Million Cups has grown to more than 160 communities. The great part about that is the idea is when we're not in a global pandemic and you're actually traveling on business, you can pop into a community, and there's a good chance that there's going to be a 1 Million Cups nearby that you could plug in with entrepreneurs, innovators, small business owners, and folks like that, and you can automatically get plugged into that community. As a program of the Kauffman Foundation, 1 Million Cups has works with entrepreneurs, empowering them with the tools and resources to break down barriers and stand in the way of starting and growing their business over 1 million cups of coffee. So I hope everyone has theirs today. I've got a large tumbler full of Onyx Delight coffee that is going to caffeinate me this morning. This morning, we're excited to be joined by the founder of Your Social Media Sherpa,
Hey.
Shaily. And so I'm not even going to get into a real description there. I'm going to let her take all of that and let her share her story with you. So without further ado, have at it.
Thank you so much for having me here. I am from Chicago, but I'm in Lexington, Kentucky today, so I'm just a little bit closer. I'm Shaily from yoursocialmediasherpa.com, where I help business owners get clarity and accountability to do your own marketing through one-on-one sessions and workshops and trainings. But before I dive in to what I do and how I can help folks, let me tell you about where I started all of this. MySpace. Anybody? MySpace? Tell me in the chat if you were a MySpacer back in the day. This is me in high school, being all goth and emo and a little bit wild, but there's so much more that went on. So I actually did not know how to really make friends growing up. I didn't have the strongest social life. It was something that I really struggled with. And like the slide shows, MySpace is actually the place where that all changed for me. I found other weirdos on the internet like me that like the same thing that I did. And if you are one of those weirdos, let me know. I watch reality competition shows like crazy. Big Brother and Survivor are my favorite. And I found people that not only loved those shows, they loved playing they loved playing online versions of those games. Caleb said, I'm not brave enough to show off my MySpace. Next time. So back on MySpace, I not only made a lot of friends and learned social skills, but I also ended up managing an online community for people who played these games. And I didn't think much of this thing till I graduated college. So I was applying for my first paid social media job, and they asked me, Shaily, have you ever managed online communities before? And I was like, wait, have I? And it hit me that day that all the things I was doing on MySpace were early social media skills long before the term was really a thing. I freelanced a little bit after that. And then I was attending a BNI meeting semi-regularly. Any people who've been to BNI before? One person in there who knew that I could do social media wasn't ready to hire me for a few $1,000s a month to do it for her. But she said, hey, can I pay you to show me how to do this for myself? And I was like, wait a second. I love motivating people. I love encouraging people and making them shine and show off their amazingness online. This might be my perfect gig. And I'm a certified teacher on top of that. And from then on, my work has focused on teaching social media, whether that be at the University of Chicago or I've coached some 200 women on how to get more consulting clients on LinkedIn, and then even my own clients too. So with that, here's a little bit more about what I do. Some people ask me, what is a Sherpa? A Sherpa is a mountain guide that takes you up the mountains of the Himalayas so you don't get lost, you don't fall off track, you don't get confused of which direction to go. Sherpas keep you focused, and that's exactly what I do for my clients. So a lot of times I find that a lot of businesses are neglecting your own marketing. And if you are, you feel like sharing, feel free. Or they're overwhelmed with all the choices that are out there of where you can put your marketing. And sometimes your thoughts and your efforts can sometimes feel fruitless. But the reality is that a lot of businesses have the secret that most they don't realize is their secret is they have an audience, they have a network of people that love and adore them. And what they really need to do is learn how to stay in touch with them, to stay top of mind with their easiest opportunities, which is repeat clients and referral clients. So I help you do that. I help you get more clarity and accountability as you're doing your own marketing. A little bit more about the businesses I serve. These are all examples of past clients I've had. So a few notable ones. I'll tell you this. I had an Indian matchmaker who actually is a very good networker, but she wasn't actually utilizing this amazing email list that she had cultivated. And so I nudged her on how to make sure she's feeding them with the information to keep her top of mind. The other crazy fun example is I had a guy that I knew as a local rabbi turned sleep consultant. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I told him, wait a second, when have you ever explained to me how you became a sleep consultant from being a rabbi? He wrote up that story, and within a couple days, he was getting people reaching out, asking him more questions because they now could understand where he was coming from. So that's a little bit of a fun thing. So how do I actually work with my clients? So it always starts with a video review where, and maybe you did this before this session. Did you Google me? Did you say, who is this Shaily lady? What does she have for me? A lot of your clients will Google you before they ever want to work with you. So is the content online showing you off in the best way possible? I will find out, and you will see my initial reaction. The other part of this is that we learn together. So for example, we'll learn how to hack Instagram hashtags, how to write a killer LinkedIn post. A few of those things that might drive you crazy, I will help you figure it out. And from there, number 3 is that we go through ongoing support and accountability. So I will check in with you on a regular basis so that you're not stuck and that you have your questions answered and that you can keep growing in social media. It's one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, and I'm here to hold your hand through all of that. So that's a little taste of it. If you want to know more, this is one of the things that I'm looking for feedback on. These are how I kind of structure my service offerings. Some people buy the video alone, and I just had someone do that last week. Some people do the video plus a 2-hour onboarding session. Some buy all of these pieces together in 3 months of support, which is, I think, huge for getting people's mindset shifted when it comes to social media. And one thing that I'm playing with is what does it look like to have a group call every single month with my current clients? So they not only can meet each other, but they can get support from each other. These are all things I'm experimenting with in terms of how I can offer support, and I would love feedback. And the last thing that I am including in my packages that I think is going to be really exciting is Voxer support, which is essentially a voice chat. So you can say, hey, Shaily, how do I connect my Instagram to my Facebook? And then within a day or two, I will respond with a voice message telling you exactly how to do that. Or if you need a little bit of encouragement, I'm one click away. That's a little bit more about how I structure my packages. So people ask me, Shaily, how do you market yourself? These are a few examples from LinkedIn of posts that have done really well, whether they're posts I've written or posts that have been written about me. My community seems to love what I put out, and I'm always educating them on the easy social media tips. So you can see there's a bunch of likes and comments and engagement, and I use these conversations to stay in touch with people who might need my services down the line or who are friends or connections. Love me some LinkedIn. I would not be the Sherpa if I didn't leave you with a few good nuggets today. Some easy tips. So the first one is gratitude. I probably am underappreciated. You all individually are underappreciated. If you're driving your kids to school, you're probably trying to think of 1,000 things at once. So sending people a little bit of love goes a long way. But how we do this in social media is really interesting. So let's say, I know this chapter on Facebook has a good crew of people. If someone's participating and engaging, Send them a thank you message. Hey, it was great having you at 1 million cups today. And what that does is a couple things. One, it makes them think of you again. And two, it it makes people feel appreciated and cared for. They're not just another number to your social media account. And three, it's as a certified teacher, it's something we call positive reinforcement. When you tell someone, hey, you did a good job engaging, they're going to want to impress you again by engaging once more. I just did this on TikTok the other day, and somebody who liked a couple videos ended up coming back and liking a few more because I engaged with her. It's so simple, but it works, and it's seldom done. Second one is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your business profile for your life and your career. If you don't have your LinkedIn profile up, this is a great day to remind you to add a few more nuggets to it. So LinkedIn is your homepage for everything. You want to make sure your banner image is there. You want to make sure you are the solution to the problems that you solve for whoever you work with, whether that you be a startup or a chamber or a local business owner. Tell us what you do and how you can help me. It's all what we want. If you need some more insights on that, if you go to yoursocialmediasherpa.com, you can look and you can get my favorite LinkedIn profiles for you to view at any time. There's tons of examples that will give you lots of ideas on how to communicate your awesomeness online. And the last nugget, some of you just got weird. You're like, Twitter? Why do I need to get on Twitter? Don't totally worry about Twitter. What Twitter is really cool for is helping you get in touch with people that are very hard to reach otherwise. So, for example, I talked to the president of K-Swiss once, which was super fun. Or I had a group of students in the room who were telling me who their idol was in terms of their career. And turns out she was posting all the time on Twitter with barely anybody engaging back. I said, if you talk to her, wouldn't you think she's going to do more favors for you because you've engaged with her content? Their minds were shook. They were blown. The other cool thing about Twitter is you can look up your competitors, and oftentimes who they follow are their clients. And so you can look up who they're serving. These are just a few tips to help you get moving on social media. But once again, I am Shaily Hakimian from yoursocialmediasherpa.com. Again, helping you get clarity and accountability doing your marketing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Thanks.
So we've got a little FCC delay on our live feed to Facebook Live, and not actually FCC. That's just how there is just a delay. So I'm going to start off with a question.
Please.
What are some of the most common misconceptions or misunderstandings or types of problems you're seeing from clients when they come to you? Probably some of the most common threads you see from those.
Here's the thing. They don't realize that their networking abilities are exactly the same thing that works on the internet. They don't know that those are the same thing. So if they're good connectors already offline, they're going to be great connectors online as well. They don't know that skill is the same. I'll find a lot of people or a lot of social media coaches that are out there. Look, I'm like one of them, but there's a lot of people that are like, I'm going to teach you how to do social media like a social media manager would. And I'm like, you don't know the mind of a business owner who's also their accountant, who's their salesperson, who's, the banker, all of the things. They don't want to learn to be a social media manager too. So it's really, they don't actually have to learn as much as they think they do. And I think that's something that I think helps my clients. And they don't actually have to post as much as they think they do usually. It's a habit. It's like going to the gym, and you have to find the right balance to maintain that.
What would you tell clients in regards to how mindful they should be of the new stuff, new platforms that are coming out, how much time should they invest in getting up to speed on those things?
This is a controversial opinion. They should not get distracted by them. Look, my place is LinkedIn, and I live on LinkedIn, and it's great because I know my people are there. If they are the kind of people that love making short videos, sure, you should be playing with TikTok a little bit. I always tell my clients, experiment with stuff. But if you don't love the kind of content you're putting out and your people aren't there, then don't go there. Or if you can't bring your people to the party that you're throwing on TikTok, then I wouldn't go nuts with it. Experimentation is good, but getting distracted by shiny objects of social media, not so good. I have someone that I love who like does podcast coaching, and she's really cool. And she heard, oh, YouTube Shorts is going to be good algorithm things. But I'm like, starting from zero isn't going to magically bring you 1 million customers there. And if you don't care enough about it and your intern's just doing it for you, I don't think you're going to get the results that you want. You're just going to suffer and be sad. So I'm always about like focus on where your people, the intersection where your people are, what you like to do, and start there. Feed those people first. And if you have the capacity to expand, sure, but know the purpose behind where you're expanding before you go all in.
And Jacob asked in the chat, what trends are you expecting to see pop up this year?
Ooh, that's a big question. What trends are
your crystal ball
up? Ooh. What trends? I don't know. That's a great question. What do I think is happening? Look, I love TikTok. I've been on TikTok for like 4 years, and I love that it's taken over the world. So maybe that, like, I think maybe this is a trend of what I hope people will do is that I want people to realize that they are their own production company when it comes to their content. Is that one of the things that breaks my heart all the time for business owners is that they're like, oh, I'll post today and maybe I'll post in 2 weeks. It's like, no, people are looking forward to your stuff. You don't want to be the show that ends mid-season, which, you know, with all the binge watching we were doing, like that would break your heart. So I hope that people start realizing that they are their own show. They need to stick with what they can maintain. If you're a once a week show, great. I'm secretly a once a month show on LinkedIn, and that's worked for me because I've stuck with it for 2.5 years. And they can too. It's consistency is important. So I'm hoping that people will realize this and realize that the platforms actually appreciate that. But you gotta love it for you to stick with it. So keep that in mind.
And Martha asked, how do you advise clients about getting their employees involved on company LinkedIn and activity?
Oh, this actually came up a few weeks ago. There was a charity group that does trainings and workshops, and they're like, why aren't our teachers posting about us on social media? They should be promoting us. Look, it's not their job to be your advertisement channel unless you've made that an agreement with them. Their channels are theirs. They own them. Do not expect people to do that. But Martha, if your community really like loves what you do and you have a very engaged network and they trust you and they love their job, maybe they want to, but you need to come to the realization that it's not owed to you. And if you don't have that conversation explicitly with them, you're not gonna get what you want. This company that I talked to, I think they went and did some research about what people were willing to do. And look, if they have the other incentives are if there's a hiring bonus, keep that in mind, right? It's like, of course I'm going to post that new job if I'm going to get someone to sign up, but also too, like make it really easy for them to want to share. One of the easiest things for employer branding that I love is having people tell their stories about why they love their job or cool things that have happened there or fun benefits that they have. You want to help people do that because most of them probably don't know social media. And most people who have a job that is not social media related, they're not the best at posting on LinkedIn either. So there's a lot of stuff we can talk about there.
And I feel too, and this is just a thought on my end, if somebody feels ownership over something in their place of work, like, for instance, when the Startup Junkie podcast hit 100,000 downloads, like I was excited to post that on LinkedIn just because, feel some sort of ownership there. So it's like, when the employees are really plugged in and given the opportunity to, sorry, my dog's making noises, given the opportunity to kind of share some of their internal success stories. I think it's good stuff too.
Huge. It's the hugest thing that you can do. Absolutely. And congrats on the podcast. Amazing.
Thanks.
I'm sure there's a story there that you could have talked about.
No shameless plug. Everybody go listen to the Startup Junkie podcast. And that's another, I don't know if that's necessarily a social media thing, but so a lot of brands are leaning into that direction of podcasts. Is that something you would intertwine with your social media strategy?
100%. So this is the thing that I don't feel like it's very obvious if you're not in the social media world, but like every type of marketing is connected because yes, you can have killer SEO, but if you don't have a great website that captures people, it's worth nothing. You can have great social media, but if your platform kicks you off tomorrow, all those connections are gone. So you have to capture their email. Everything kind of feeds into each other. And podcasts are amazing for that because they let you be in front of an audience that hasn't seen you before, which means new followers, which means new email signups and beyond. So, but how do you get people to listen to your podcast? This is the biggest pain. And maybe you probably understand this. To get people to find you, you have to be the one sometimes putting that energy to it, or you need to go on other shows to tell people about it. And so you need some other form to get people to know that it's there. So one of the LinkedIn posts I made recently was that how do you get people excited about an episode? And the simplest thing is tell me what's inside of it. Some people take the time to tell you what the breakdown is minute by minute, which if everyone had the time, I would say do it. But also too, taking those fun little, what are those called? Not anagrams, or the little 2-minute audiograms, those little 2 minutes or less audiograms, and plugging that so that people know what's inside and that they can want to listen to the rest of it. Make it super easy for people to know what's inside a podcast episode. That is the one thing I see people miss all the time when they're promoting their podcast on social media. Tell me what's in it for me. Always.
And Martha had a follow-up post. I think LinkedIn's perfect space for this, safer business space versus Facebook. And I agree to your comment about a person's kind of social media lane, that's their space. Like, for instance, my Facebook is going to be more, my dog or Arkansas Razorback basketball versus, company highlights, where that'll be on LinkedIn. And I had another thought in it fleeted. We have any more questions? Don't be shy, folks. Drop them in the chat. Do you have any questions for us?
Ooh,
for our audience.
Well, let's see. If we have folks who are startups or businesses, like, how do you feel about your own marketing? I once told a chapter that this is like social media therapy without the therapy. So are people upset? Are they excited? Are they nervous?
Here, I just remembered my other question. I've seen recommended, and I've seen some people do it well, creating a Facebook. So you have, say, your Facebook business page, but also the creation of a Facebook group or community to where they might share content from their business page into that group, and then kind of build a separate community. Say, our organization, Startup Junkie, we have a page, but then say we create a group where it's like Northwest Arkansas entrepreneurs, and then we share our content into there. What would you advise in that regard?
Oof, I love it. So I actually do manage a Facebook group for one of my clients. It is an amazing thing if done well. It is a hard gig, but it can be absolutely incredible. So before I would say, and I told this to this Indian matchmaker client too, is before you make it, or if you can make it, keep in mind, like, do you love that kind of interaction where you're jumping in, asking questions, posting thought starters on a regular basis, posting insights? If you feel good about that you are going to enjoy spending your time there, great. It might be good just to have, but I would say most groups go dead or unmoderated or unengaged. The one example I use is that I am a part of a magician community here in Chicago, and we had a new Facebook page created. And within a day, everybody was chatting and engaging with each other like it was brilliant. How does that work? Because everybody else knew each other from offline. So there was already a culture established before the Facebook group was made. So if you know who you're talking to, and these are your listeners, and you feel like you have a connection with them, and you know that you're going to stick with them on a regular basis, absolutely. They're fantastic, and they have higher engagement than a business page, because Facebook wants you to pay for that now. It does have a lot of better engagement. It doesn't hurt to have, but don't let it sit there and rot. Like, if you're going to do it, commit. It's so big.
Either commit yourself or engage people that will actively participate in that, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, actively participate, but also like they know that you're leading them somewhere good, is that you're facilitating an experience for them, where maybe are you the resource hub of when people are struggling and they have questions. You're putting out tips is one thing, but also like getting them to talk to each other is the other huge part of Facebook groups. So having the capacity is important. And again, so many shiny objects with social media, it might be the perfect thing for you. But where your people are, feed them with what they need. And you got to love it, because each one of these is going to take time. So if you're going to commit. If you want to experiment with 10 people, I've done that too. And that's actually been a really great way to see if it's going to work. You get those 10 people really excited and you start adding more people little by little. That's also a great hack for not only, this is like a secret, but like Facebook events works great like that. And Facebook groups too. Feed those people right, and more people will have the better possibility to being fed by your community.
And we don't have any more questions in the chat, so I'm going to give you the 1 Million Cups final question, which you know is coming. What can we as a community do for you to help you?
Great question. So I put a slide up with like all different things that I could use support on. I'm always learning better how to be better with my sales processes. I know people call me all the time, and I want to make sure that I can guide them to the solution that's going to help them feel better about their marketing. That's a big one. I love doing workshops and trainings for high school and college students. I've been learning a lot more about doing workshops for sororities. I just got hired to do a workshop that happened last week for women who are getting into the security field. So helping them not only understand LinkedIn, but understanding how to really tell their story about what makes each and every one of them special. That level of empowerment is something that I'm seeing so many young women miss. So it's kind of a twofer there. I love talking to chambers about what doing workshops and trainings look like for them. Their entrepreneurs are the ones that are the most stuck and they could need some guidance. And I find that those folks really enjoy hearing some nuggets from me. Oh, James, I thank you, James, for the introduction. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Always, if there's any feedback from anybody in here about the pitch today, I am learning every single week. I have changed this thing up and I've done new versions of it. So I'm always learning to be a better speaker. I'm always learning to talk slower and all that kind of good stuff. The other big question that I've been asking chapters is how to make sure that I can grow more scalably, but also in a way that I can enjoy for the long term. So that is the biggest question I also have. How can I structure my service for long-term growth and in a way that I can enjoy and maintain? So these are a few things that I wonder about. And for everybody else here, if you want more social media insights, I have full-length videos on YouTube of all sorts of trainings that I've done in the past that are there for you. So thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
And if you're okay with it, I'm going to drop your email address in the comments for the chats here too.
Sure.
And that way folks can reach out to you afterwards if you're cool with that.
Absolutely. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can sign up for my very easy social media tips that come into your inbox every other week.
Awesome. Well, we greatly appreciate you for presenting today.
Thank you.
Our 1 Million Cups Bentonville. You're welcome to come back anytime and join us, whether as a presenter or as a spectator. We appreciate you and wish you the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I also wanted to thank Jacob at Go Rogue X for being our producer behind the screens for us right now and helping us with this stream and having these comments dance across your computer screen. He's the mastermind behind that. Everybody have a great Wednesday.
Bye.